Okay, so there's a segment from Fox Business that's making a pretty bold claim. They're saying the US isn't just recovering, it's actually in the middle of a major economic boom that most people are completely missing. So let's dive in and really unpack what they're arguing. And this quote from the Wall Street Journal is really the heart of their whole case. The commentators are basically saying, hey, there's a massive economic story happening right now, and nobody's talking about it. And they're here to fix that. So how do they make this case? Well, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. We'll start with their big prediction, then dig into the numbers they're using. After that, we'll look at the specific policies they say are working, see how they compare different states, and finally, unpack their very, very optimistic forecast for what's coming next. All right, first up, the big headline claim. The argument here isn't just that we're seeing some steady growth. No, they're saying the economy is really hitting the gas, just blowing past what anyone expected. And they're not shy about who they think gets the credit. They point directly to the administration's agenda for this turnaround. They really draw a sharp contrast here, saying that Mr. Trump came into office when the economy was actually shrinking. And since then, he has, in their words, presided over robust growth. Okay, but if you're going to make a claim that big, you need the numbers to back it up, right? So let's get into the nitty-gritty and decode the exact data they're using as proof of this economic surge. And right at the center of all this evidence is a huge prediction. They believe the year is going to end with 5% GDP growth. I mean, that is a massive jump from what people were forecasting just a little while ago. So what's giving them the confidence to predict 5%? Well, they're pointing to what they call a better-than-expected third-quarter GDP that came in at 4.3%. For them, this isn't just a good number, it's the hard proof that this economic momentum is the real deal and it's still picking up steam. You know, whenever you hear about fast growth, the next thought is always, what about inflation? Well, the source gets ahead of that question. They highlight the latest CPI reading of 2.7%, and they frame it as proof that this boom isn't causing prices to just spiral out of control. And it's not just about GDP and inflation either. They lay out this whole dashboard of positive indicators. The trade deficit is at a 5-year low, exports are near an all-time high, and the stock market has just soared. They even get into things like a boom in onshoring at a 20% jump in data center backlogs to show that this strength is really broad-based. So the big question is, what's driving all these numbers? What's the secret sauce? Let's dig into the specific policies they say are making it all happen. According to one commentator, an amazing amount of work has been put in, and it's all built on these 4 pillars. First, making those first-term tax cuts permanent. Second, a new tariff regime. Third is immigration reform. And fourth, sparking this massive AI infrastructure boom, backed by trillions in new investment. All right, so from that big national picture, the source then zooms in, taking a look at how things are playing out regionally, comparing the economic situation in different parts of the country. And to back this up, they pull out a report from the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Now, as they present it, the report shows that over the past year, conservative red states have had lower overall inflation than liberal blue states. And the takeaway they present? Simple. The policies in red states are, in their view, just working better. Okay, so all of this data, all these comparisons, it's all building up to their final and, I gotta say, most optimistic point, a prediction that some major prosperity is right around the corner. And they have this fantastic metaphor to explain their outlook, and it comes from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He apparently said that 2025 was all about setting the table. But 2026, well, that's when everyone gets to enjoy the feast. So what exactly is the engine that's supposed to deliver this feast? They call it a virtuous cycle. It's a classic economic idea, really. The basic theory is that success just keeps breeding more success, creating this self-sustaining loop of growth. So here's the breakdown of how they see this cycle working, step by step. First, you get these pro-growth policies put in place. That helps investors and companies make more money. That, in turn, creates what they call a wealth effect for everybody else. And when people feel wealthier, what do? They spend more. And all that spending, you guessed it, fuels even more economic growth. And the whole thing just starts over again. And there you have it. That's the super optimistic case being made in the source. A self-sustaining economic engine just firing on all cylinders. Which really leaves us with the one big question that their entire forecast hinges on. What factors out there could actually supercharge this cycle? Or be the one thing that throws a wrench in the works and brings it all to a halt?